My name is Sydney Songer. I'm a holistic wellness practitioner and the Gemstone Education Specialist with Gemisphere, and today I want to talk to you about malachite, which is all about harmonizing the body. Essentially, the mission of malachite is to establish a level of communication in the body where every cell and every organ and every part of the system is communicating and understands what's happening with every other part. We live in a world today that is incredibly distracting, maybe now more so than ever, where we're so easily distracted by things like our cell phones, computers, the internet, what's happening around the world, which is very distracting in recent years. I'm sure you would all agree. There's also job responsibilities we have for taking care of our families, and the lack of body awareness that has developed over time as a result of this is actually much more common than you might think. Remaining grounded, remaining in a state of awareness of our bodies at all times is something that's totally possible, but we're not really trained to be that way anymore. We're very cerebral in our thinking, and we're not paying attention to what our body is trying to tell us on a daily basis or even an hour or minute by minute basis. We have this immense healing capacity within ourselves, this healing wisdom that is inherently part of us. And when communication is breaking down within our physical body, it becomes harder for us to call on these resources and this wisdom to sort of deal with an issue when it's a small issue, before it's given time to compound into a bigger issue where we can no longer ignore that something is wrong. So I'm going to break this down a little bit more and explain just how malachite helps reestablish this connection, as well as some other added benefits that you might experience when working with it. So how exactly does malachite help facilitate reconnecting the body with itself and increasing this level of communication? First of all, I just want to say that malachite is one of the most stunning gemstones in my opinion. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. And when you look at it, it's this bright green that has these strands of either black or incredibly dark green that go along it horizontally. On each side of the sphere, it forms what appears to be like a bullseye, and the drill hole goes directly through that bullseye. Now, this is important because the way that malachite works is in a rhythmic wave-like fashion, and having the darker bands positioned in this way helps to align those waves so that they're flowing in a very organized and rhythmic way throughout the system. It's really important that if you're working with malachite that you're not using something that has a lot of odd line formations, or where the different beads have lines going in different directions, because this can make the energy coming off of it a bit more erratic, and that sort of takes away the therapeutic value of what it's trying to do for you. So that's something to keep in mind. But so this wave-like function, it almost acts, I think of it like the body's built-in radar system, where it sends this rhythmic wave of energy as it's activated by your aura when you start wearing it. And it goes up and down the body through each cell and every part of the physical systems. And it essentially picks up information on everything that it passes through. And as it does that, it spreads that information in these wave-like movements to every other part of the body, so that everything is aware of what's going on. Now, this is beneficial because if something has started to go wrong or isn't functioning properly, it alerts the rest of the body so that it can do something about it quickly. Whether that is engaging a certain function of the body like the immune system or the lymphatic system, or alerting the organs of elimination to address something and move something along. It's really vital to have this level of communication for expedited healing processes, making sure that it's quick and efficient, and so that, again, like I mentioned before, you can deal with something while it's a small issue instead of allowing it to compound into something that's much bigger and harder to deal with. So everyone that wears malachite is going to have a very unique experience with it based on what their system is needing. This is going to show up in different ways. For some people, it's going to facilitate things like moving energy that is causing stagnation. For some people, it will help with congestion in different parts of the body. For others, it might help circulation if you become aware of the fact that there is sluggish circulation occurring somewhere that maybe you weren't aware of before. And for some people, it can have kind of more of a spiritual effect where it is known to, in some cases, help to open up the chakras a bit more. That wave-like motion just sort of moves energies along and clears pathways and gets things flowing in a way where we're able to access energies more openly. For a lot of people, this manifests with the sixth chakra or the third chakra, and a lot of people credit malachite to some of the more deeper spiritual experiences that they have, or they find that their practices that are more spiritual in nature become deeper as a result of working with malachite. Now, another benefit of this is that as this communication is reconnected and reestablished, you might find that you're capable of healing in ways that you didn't think was possible anymore, or at all in some cases. But like I said, we are incredibly profound, complex physical and spiritual beings, and we have this healing wisdom and capacity in us that is always available, but sometimes we become disconnected from it. So the more we work with malachite and the more that communication is reestablished, the more these natural healing processes are allowed to sort of kick into high gear and function as optimally as possible, which, as you can imagine, can be very beneficial. There are a lot of different physical issues, especially if it's something chronic, something like chronic injury, if there's stagnation or congestion, pain, or something of this nature, where we keep coming at it from different angles and we're not finding the solution. Sometimes it might be as simple as just opening up this line of communication so that the body can actually see what's happening clearly and then call on all of the different resources it needs to address it properly. So the more you work with it, you may find that a few things happen. You start healing a bit more efficiently. You may find that certain chronic patterns in the body start to resolve themselves. And you may also find that you have more of a sense of understanding of your own physicality and your physical body and what's going on with it. So now that you understand a bit more about how malachite works, I just want to add a couple notes to this. It's really important that those darker bands are crisp and clear and they are aligned in the right way throughout the entire necklace to maintain this therapeutic effect. We want to make sure that the communication and that wave-like motion of the frequency is as clear as absolutely possible. Because of this, you don't want to work with malachite that is encased in metal. And the reason for this is because the metal inhibits that wave-like motion and causes it, especially if it's something like a ring or earrings or something, where the surface of the malachite is the only area that's able to emit that frequency. And because of that, it kind of dampens the ability for it to have an all-encompassing radar movement throughout the system, which is what makes it healing to begin with. So if you're trying to work with malachite that's encased in metal, you may be disappointed. It's pretty important that you have it completely available. The entire surface area is available, and that those lines are positioned in the right way so that as it is activated and interacting with your aura, it's free to send that wave out in a very evenly distributed way. There's a number of different physical conditions that malachite can potentially assist with as a result of this enhanced level of communication throughout the body, but I have definitely found that it's incredibly useful for things like physical pain and tightness, or again, like I mentioned, stagnation and congestion, whether that's lymphatic, immune, circulatory, or just tension and tightness that's in the muscles. As it opens up these energetic channels and that wave-like motion, it's almost a massaging effect in a way where it's stimulating movement, and it essentially, the more you work with it, helps to remove energies that are blocking the ability for the body to communicate and function in a harmonious way. So that's something to keep in mind when you're trying to decide what you want to work with. I will say that it works wonderfully in conjunction with some of the other physical addressing gemstones, things like the aventurines or emerald as well. You can wear it in combination with other gemstones. I personally find that I enjoy working with it on its own and then adding something else on the other side of it, either before or after. The reason I prefer it this way is because I want the emanations from it to be as uninhibited as possible. And I have found that sometimes when I wear it with something else, that it's almost like the frequencies overlap a little bit too much and affect that wave-like motion. Some people have wonderful benefits wearing it with something else at the same time, and that's something that you'll need to kind of experiment with on your own. What works for me might not work for someone else, and what works for you might not work for me. That's kind of the wonderful thing about gemstones, is that they really cater themselves to your unique needs. And so again, when we work with it and we have more of this body awareness, a happy side effect that I've also found is that increased communication and understanding of our own body has allowed me to also receive messages from my body as I'm working with other gemstones or doing other physical practices as well. I'm more able to quickly understand how something is affecting me and respond to that if it needs to be responded to, or just be grateful for it if that's also the case. So do keep in mind when you're working with it, listen to what your body is saying, try and tune in, be open to the possibilities of what it's going to present for you. And I really hope that it provides benefit for you the way that it has for me. If you have additional questions about malachite, please feel free to visit the website. There's additional literature there. You can call and speak with someone at Gemisphere, or you can schedule a private consultation with me, and we can go a little bit more in depth about how malachite might be appropriate for you to use for your individual situation. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please feel free to like and subscribe. I will be doing more educational videos, and if you subscribe, you'll be notified as soon as they are posted on YouTube. Thank you.